Hey, StoneBridge, we're so glad that you're here with us today. I'm Christy Bebermeyer, and this is my girl, Jackie. She's the director of our Omaha preschool. She's so amazing. I'm glad for you guys to get to meet her today. We are in the message series 6 Feet Apart, where we're going to be walking through relationships and marriage, and these things are all really important. But right now, Jackie and I would like to talk about some things that are particularly important to us.
Yes, Christy, I am a huge 80s fan.
Yeah, girl.
Huge.
All day.
And if you can't tell,
Rocky shirt
is my favorite movie of all time. This was not purchased for today. I've had it for years.
And also, your son.
Yeah, I wanted to name my son Rocky, but that was a hard veto by Dad. So his name is Jace, and it works.
Good, strong name.
Yep, so I have the shirt.
Okay, that's good.
So,
you got the shirt.
Christy.
Yeah.
I have some Rocky trivia questions for you. And if you get them wrong, I invite you to drink a raw egg. Sound good?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sound good. All right.
Yeah, you know what? I'm down.
Your game.
Let's play the game.
Let's do it. All right. You ready for the first question?
Let's play the game.
How many eggs did Rocky eat for breakfast when he was training? Need some options?
Yes, I need options.
All right. A3, B6, C12, or D8. If you're at home, turn to the person next to you. If you're online, drop it in the chat. Christy, what do you think?
3 is too few, 12 is too many. I say if I were training, I would have 6.
You are right. You've been spared the egg, my friend.
Okay, I got one.
Yes.
I got this. I got this.
No, we've got more. We've got more. Okay. Where did Adrian work? A hardware store. B, 7-Eleven. C, a clothing store. Or D, a pet shop. Turn to your friend, drop it in the chat. Christy, what do you think, my friend?
It was a store. It's one of the last two. It's pets or clothes. Pets or clothes. I'm positive it's pet store.
You're right.
Yes.
Once again, spared the egg, but we have our third and final question.
I don't want to drink that.
Well, I guess we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Are you ready? All right.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
it's gonna be fine.
What was Rocky's dog's name? The dog. You ready? A, Spaghetti. B, Charlie. C, Butkus. Or D, Polly.
That's Butkus all day long.
Oh, geez. Yes.
I'm a Rocky fan, too.
You're right.
Sorry. Yep.
Maybe another day for you, Christy.
Maybe another day. I don't have to drink the egg. Okay, so my favorite 80s movie, I'm going to give you a line from it. Okay? Roads, where we're going, we don't need roads. Well, that's my movie from the 80s.
Back to the Future.
Back to the Future. Yeah, you're my girl.
Yes.
You know. Okay, so I have questions for you. And Jackie, I love this game that you have created, and so I will extend the invitation to you for my questions on my movie. Okay,
it's fine.
So, if you were going to dress like Marty McFly for Halloween, what would you wear? No choices. Drop it in the chat. Tell your neighbor. What would you wear, Jackie?
Not one choice.
Nope.
Okay, how about a red vest?
Oh, yeah.
Got
That's
it.
a good pick.
Got
it. Very good, Jackie.
Thank you.
Drink the egg. Okay, second question. What song does Marty McFly play at the Enchantment Under the Sea dance? Is it A, La Bamba, B, Johnny Be Good, C, Hound Dog, or D, Shake, Rattle, and Roll?
Easy. Johnny Be Good.
Oh, such a good song. I love that song so much.
Got it.
All right, you got it. So great. Good for you. Okay, one more. This one's tricky. I'm going to get you on this one.
Oh, we'll see.
What does Marty McFly ride when he escapes from Biff and his tough friends in the first movie? Is it A, a skateboard, B, hoverboard, C, scooter, or D, bike?
Christy.
You better think about
All
this
right.
or you're drinking
it's
that
for
egg.
the egg. Okay.
It's for the egg.
I'm going to say scooter.
Really?
Yes, right?
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
He totally takes the girl's scooter, breaks it off, and rides it like a skateboard.
Woo.
So technically, I could have accepted both scooter and skateboard because officially he rode a skateboard, which he broke out of a scooter.
So I'm right.
So technically, you are right. Congratulations,
Thank
Jackie.
you.
Neither of us has to drink the egg, but I'm pretty sure all of you thought it was going to be me. That's all right. This has been enough show for us. Guys, let's get into service.
Oh, welcome to StoneBridge. Wherever you are, will you stand with us? I invite you to sing and worship now as we ask our Father to fill this place. Let's sing together. There is a light that burns in the darkness. There is a hope that washes the fear away. There is a peace that settles around us. It is your love that sets our hearts ablaze. Father, we're on our knees. With every heartbeat we bring you this offering. Lord, come and fill this place. Father, we're crying out. Spirit, we need you now. Glorious love surrounds us. Lord, come and fill this place. There is a King that reigns in victory. Yeah. There is a mercy strong enough to save. We feel it rising up from the ashes. There is a love that overcame the grave. That's right. There is a love that overcame the grave. Love
Amen. Welcome to StoneBridge. It's so good to see you again. We have the opportunity to listen to a sermon from Mark today. We'll continue to talk about how we should handle our relationships, how to love each other, how to care for each other. It's been so encouraging. This sermon series has brought me to a place where every week I'm reminded of those people in my life who have encouraged me, who've really made me who I am. I think of people like my dad, like my mom, like my wife, like my children. They've made me who I am. I don't know where I'd be, who I'd be without them. And this next song, it talks about Jesus in that way. Like, I'm nothing without Jesus. Jesus gave me this joy. He gave me this peace. He saved me. I have freedom in him. So I'll be nothing without Jesus. So this next song sings about that. So I just encourage you to find the character of Jesus in this song and just sing that to him. Search my Without you, I am nothing. Come on, sing it out. Without you, I am nothing. 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 Oh, without you, I am nothing. Oh, without you, I am nothing. Oh, without you, I am nothing. Without you, I am nothing. Without you, I am nothing. So with all my heart, with all my soul, with all I am, Lord, I will follow you. You took the cross, you took my sin, restored my life, Lord, I will follow you. Without you, I am nothing. 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 Search my heart and search my soul.
Let the key of my heart be the mountain where I run, the fountain I drink from. Oh, is my song. Let the key of my heart be the shadow where I hide, the ransom for my life. Oh, is my song. You are good. You're good. Oh, 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 let the key of my heart be the wind inside my sails, and the anchor in the waves. Oh, is my song, yeah. Let the key of my heart be the fire inside my veins, the echo of my days. Oh, is my song. Let the key of my heart be the wind inside my sails, and the anchor in the waves. Oh, is my song. Oh, let the key of my heart be the fire inside my veins, and the echo of my days. Oh, is my song. You are good, good. Whoa. You're good. Whoa, you are good, good. Whoa, you are good. You're good. Whoa, you're never gonna let me down. 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 No, you're never gonna let me down. You're never gonna let me down. No, you're never gonna let me down. No, 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 you're never gonna let me down. You are good. You're good. Whoa.
change everything. Lives healed, hope found here now. Jesus, you change everything. Chains fall, fear bow here now. Jesus, you change everything. Oh, life healed, hope found here now. Jesus, you change everything. Oh, you change everything. You change everything.
Will you pray with me, please? Jesus, we know that you are really the thing that changes everything. And we know that we try to carry around burdens that we are not supposed to carry on our own. And I pray that we would be a people that put those things at the foot of the cross and turn those things over to you, because when real change is going to happen, you are always involved. Thank you, God, for always being there no matter what. Amen. We're so glad that you're joining us here today. We know that a lot of you are joining us in a number of different ways. Either you're joining us online, which is so exciting. We're so glad you're here. And if you're joining us in person, welcome. We are so glad that you're here. If this is your first time, we hope you'll consider filling out our New Here card. You can find that in the link in the chat if you're online. If you're in person, that can be found on our app. It's just a couple of questions we hope you'll consider filling out. Mostly, we want you to find your place here at StoneBridge. You get a Starbucks gift card, which is amazing, but more than anything, you get to figure out what your next steps can be here at StoneBridge, and that's what we care about the most.
Yes, and another great way you can get to know more about StoneBridge is to join our 1-hour This is StoneBridge class happening on October 25th. This class is geared to answer questions about who we are, what we believe, and why we do the things we do as a church. You can attend in person or online, so check out our website at sb.church for more information. We hope to see you there. We are gearing up for our next message series, which will be kicking off in 2 weeks, right in time for election, called Separation of Church and Hate.
I'm so excited.
You know, Christy, there was a survey that said that 8 out of 10 Americans say that politics is the biggest source of stress in life.
I believe that.
Yes.
Yes.
The Separation of Church and Hate is a 4-week message series starting October 25th. We will not be passing out voter guides or telling you who to vote for, but we will be challenging you, the church, to be a light in the darkness. We hope you'll plan on joining us for this series and inviting someone to join you, no matter their political affiliation.
And it's never been easier to invite. So something that I've learned as I've gone through my Christian walk is that giving is another act of worship. And trusting God with my finances is something that's so critical for my faith. And what I know, Malachi even tells us to give our best and our first, and that God will bless that every time. And He does every single time. And so if you've come prepared to give today, in whatever capacity, if you are in service, you can give at the boxes at the back of the service, or you can give on our app or online on our website. There are a number of ways you can give.
We're in a message series called 6 Feet Apart, and I'm so excited to get in and see what Mark has to say.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on August 15th, 1981. I looked at the most beautiful girl in the world and I said, I, Mark, take you, Linda, to be my wife, to have and to hold from this day forward, for better, for worse, for richer, for poor, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish for the rest of my life. My wife made me memorize that. I had to do that. We weren't no repeating after me kind of stuff, right? Like you gotta memorize that. And so I did, and I'm thankful because now I've got it memorized. It's pretty easy for me to say that. I've said it lots of times, hundreds of times with couples, and always make that statement. And it's a big, big statement, right? It's a big, big deal. And to say to love and to cherish for the rest of my life. See, we have been led to believe that all we need is love, right? That's not true. We need to cherish, right? Because we, again, have been led to believe that love will keep us together. But that's not true either. I mean, the Beatles told us all we need is love, but that didn't keep them together. And the Captain and Tennille said, love will keep us together, but that ain't true either. They got divorced. And like, what are we supposed to do? How are we supposed to do this? How are we supposed to have a love that will last a lifetime? Over the last several weeks, we've been taking a look at some of the things that can keep us together, bring us together. If we've been pushing back for a while because of the stress and the tension and the COVID thing and all that stuff, staying in the house, working from home, eating at home, recreating at home, education at home, all of that stuff has caused a lot of us to have a lot of stress in our lives. So over the last several weeks, we've talked about our relationship with Jesus. If we both can keep working towards becoming more like Jesus, it'll bring us together. We talked a whole lot about forgiving each other. I think the massive key for a great relationship is the ability to forgive one another. We talked about friendship and having our spouse be our best friend and doing things together. We also talked about serving each other last weekend. And today, I want to talk about investing in our relationship. I'm not sure where Linda and I learned about that. We've always believed that our marriage should come first before any other earthly relationship, before anything else in our world. And perhaps it was because we didn't have children for the first 7 years of our life, so it was just us. And we developed a rhythm in which we were able to date one another still while we're married, be able to vacation together while we're married without children. And then the kids come, and then the rhythm of our world got interrupted, and money got interrupted, and time and energy and all those kind of things. But we still did our very best to make sure that our marriage had an extended period of times in which we would invest in our relationship, and we nourished that. Even early on, when we first got married, I was still in college. I took a full load of coursework. I worked part-time. I preached every weekend at a church. I played on the basketball team, and Linda worked full-time. It was a tremendous amount of time and energy and stress, and yet we still did our very best, and little money. So we were trying to figure out how can we still invest in our relationship. One of the things we love to do was to go to Ricardo's. If you're from Norfolk, Nebraska, Ricardo's is a Mexican restaurant. Maybe by name only. I don't know exactly how that works, but it's our favorite place to go when we were dating. I still love the burrito grande. In fact, last week, some folks from our church, the Covers, brought Linda and I 4 frozen burrito grandes. And I don't know if that's how they always start out. Like, okay, if they're nuking them back there, I don't really care. It tastes amazingly wonderful. And so we thawed them out, nuked them up pretty good, and put a bunch of sour cream and onion on it, and it just tasted like we were in Norfolk when we were first dating. It was absolutely wonderful, amazingly comfort food. Now, when our kids got involved in our lives, and when they started happening that, we had to adjust. We still wanted to invest in our relationships, and so we went out on dates and we really discovered how wonderful it was to vacation without children. It was it was like, we had no idea. And I remember, and it probably took us 10 years to figure that out. On our 10th wedding anniversary date, Linda was working for a bank, Chase Bank, and we were living in Arizona, and they sent her to Chase Manhattan stuff for training, and it was right along our 10-year anniversary, and they're going to put her up in a nice hotel, take care of all her food and travel and things. And so Linda got up enough courage to say, would it be okay if my husband comes as well? They said, we don't care. We don't care at all. That'd be great. And they wanted her to go over an extended weekend because it was going to be cheaper for them to do all that kind of stuff. And so we had a long weekend together, and then she had to go to work on Monday, and I flew back on Monday evening, and we had a great time. In fact, we stayed at the World Trade Center a couple of nights, and so it was just incredibly frightening when we watched that hall collapse on what we would have been staying in at that time. But New York was great, and it was half off, right? We didn't have to pay for a hotel. We didn't have to pay for Linda's food or the time when we went to the Yankee game or to any of that stuff. It was a wonderful time, and we began to discover we need a little bit of time to invest into our relationship and do that. So I'm going to encourage you, wherever stage of life you're in right now, that you need to invest in your marriage. And that's going to require money and time and energy. And your kids probably will balk at that. And they're like, how come we can't go? How come we can't go? Here's what you tell them. Well, we don't want you to. Actually, you don't say you say, Mommy and Daddy are going to be better mommy and daddies when we get back. And that's true. You will be better at this. Now, it's quite possible that you could take this to the extreme and completely ignore your children, right? You completely ignore that, and I don't want you to do that either. But your kids, by the way, your kids are going to be okay when you leave. It's okay. They're going to figure that out. And because you've been doing that for a while, you've already, you're leaving them at school, you're leaving them at a sitter, you're leaving them at a church, and they're getting used to the fact that, you're going to come back. It's okay. One of the biggest times for divorce is when the last kid leaves, because we haven't been investing in our relationship with one another, and we've been pouring everything we have into our children, and we've even developed enough relationship with our kids that we don't even want them to leave. We don't even want them to go because we're scared. Like, what happens if they leave? All we got is each other. Like, I don't even know if that's going to work out very well. So please, 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 it's probably the second leading time for a divorce is when the last kid is leaving and we haven't spent enough time investing in each other to know what to do when it's just us. By the way, I love the empty nest. I think it's great. I've told my friends, you're going to love this. And really, it is really amazing. Now, I like being close to my kids. I wish my family in Texas was way closer. I don't really want them in the house. I just don't. And, I like having my grandkids in my house for 3-4 days, and that's great, and then they can go, and I don't mind. I'll take them to the amusement park, but that's it. But boy, the wonderful thing is that if we can invest in our relationship and be intentional about that, it'll go a long ways. When Linda and I now, without the kids, we oftentimes find very secluded places to go and to enjoy quiet and beauty. I live a pretty public life. And that's why we really like to leave town. I do like it when I see our StoneBridge family in the community that we live in and work in and all that kind of stuff. And I run into people all the time at a gas station or a restaurant or the grocery store. And I love that. I think that's incredibly great. But the times when we can get away really helps restore our soul. So for us, remote parks like national parks, and we often end up close to those national treasures, and we enjoy a cabin or a bed and breakfast, and the pressure just begins to leave our lives, and we begin to spend an extended period of time investing in our relationship. Unfortunately, I hear more and more about how parents let their children become the center of their family, even refusing to go out on dates because they don't want to leave their kids. By the way, your children will be incredibly happy with that arrangement. They will crave it and desire it and complain if they don't get that. And they're going to go kicking and screaming if you begin to make adjustments where you let them know that they're not the center of the kingdom that they've established in your home. If they don't learn that they're not the center of the universe, you're going to set them up for marriage counseling in the future. Let me just say that. Because a very self-centered child is going to probably marry another one, and it's going to be incredibly difficult for that. So kids do take a lot of energy and focus, and especially now if the little ones are little, and there's lots of energy and struggles that come with that and financial things. And that's why a date night, and I'd hear guys talk about date nights, and you need to do a date night every week. And I'm like, we're tired, and we never were able to pull that off. About once a month was good for us, especially when they were really little, and we just didn't have the energy and the time and the money for that. Once they were put to bed, it was great. We could do some catching up on that, but we really enjoy ever so often an extended meal that's not like nuggets, right? Where you're just snarfing them and you're yelling at your kid to get it down, let's go, get out of the playground. It's like you need a little bit of time to decompress, invest in your relationship. And if you will do this, here's what you'll do. You will thank me. You will thank me. Well, we had no idea. We really missed this. This was so good for us. We can't even remember the last time we had 20 minutes, let alone 2 hours. And I know some of that can be kind of expensive and just kind of sock a little bit of money away for a little while, whether it's a nice restaurant or it's a weekend of getting away from the family. All that takes some time and energy. But let me tell you this. Investing money and time and energy in something that you want, right? If you want a great marriage, invest in that. Another thing that we hear more and more about, I think this is funny, I don't know funny, but people won't like this, but I hear a lot of parents let their kids sleep in their bed with them. And I'm not sure what that's about. We kick them out pretty quick. And they slept in their own room. I know it was painful for a little while. It was well worth it. The bedroom is a place for intimacy and rest. That's why Linda and I have never put a TV in our bedroom. Watching a taped segment of Jeopardy just doesn't put me in the mood really much. So that's what we tend to watch now. It's like Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune. That's where we're at. So Linda lets me have Sunday afternoons to rest and recover. When we get home, usually about 1:30 to 2:30, I find a couch and a remote and a golf tournament and a nap happens. And I take a 10-minute nap to do that. And I found out that if you watch a 10-minute during a golf tournament, you don't miss anything. We only have one TV, so we tend to, like, whoever gets the remote first wins kind of thing. And Linda oftentimes gets the remote, and she's watching Property Brothers. And there's a couple of shows that she doesn't like. Like right now, she leaves the room during the debates. She just leaves the room. She's like, I can't stand it. She leaves the room if we're watching Fox and they're arguing. She's like, he hates arguing shows. I leave the room if she's watching Property Brothers. I just can't stand that show or those people or whatever's going on in there. So like, we're not going to do that. We're not going to buy that house. We're never going to ask them to help us with that. We can't even choose, right? So I leave the room. So let's take a look at 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 7. Love this. Love bears all things, believe all things, hopes all things, endures all things. And notice the pattern there. The wonderful little word there is all. That's a key thing to hone in on. If he says it 4 times in a sentence here, we got to figure that out. Love bears all things. It's the idea of protection, to keep something off or to lighten the load. There's all kinds of ways to lighten the load. We talked about how we could serve each other last week. But there are seasons where we just instead of talking about it, and it's like we're going to do our very best to lighten the load. And stress can wreak havoc on a relationship. And that's where many of us find ourselves right now. It's just massively stressful. The stress of COVID, the stress of an election cycle that is massively intense. Now, hopefully for both husband and wife, you're not running at super high speeds both at the same time. If you are, that becomes incredibly difficult and stressful. What I have found over the time, that like when I'm stressed out, Linda's doing pretty good. When Linda's stressed out, I'm doing pretty good. I think that's one of the wonderful things about a relationship is that we can carry each other burdens at times. And if we both can't, that's when we have to find some help. That's when we, like if we're both struggling, we both can't keep up, that's where we have to find some help. But basically, love bears all things says, I'm going to lift this off of you for a little while. And that can come from extended conversations, an evening together just to sit and talk, a long dinner date. It just eases the tension and helps lift the burden. And I know when I have said to Lynn, hey, let's just go out tonight. And she looks at me like, really? And I was like, yeah, let's just do that. Like, that'd be great. I just want to lift the burden off of you for a little while. I'll be wonderful to help. Let's spend some time doing that together. One of the things that we do like to do that kind of eases the burden, I'm not sure exactly how this works for me, but I have a classic car that I drive around. And almost every evening I get that thing out and I rev that up and I listen to that purr, down the road. And Linda and I go for a ride, and it really eases the burden. And I don't know how this happens, but we end up at a Dairy Queen. It's programmed. It's just like, it's like a Tesla. Like, okay, let's go to the Dairy Queen. Maybe one in Valley, or maybe the one in Elkhorn, or maybe the one in Fremont. We just find them. It's just amazing. But it has eased the burden off of us a little bit and gives us a little bit of time to decompress. So, guys, if you've always wanted a 67 Mustang, now's the time. The pastor says it's okay, right? You invest in your marriage. It'll be good for you, wonderful. And it surprisingly has really helped us. But love bears all things. It also believes all things. What a wonderful thought to give the benefit of the doubt. We're all broken. We'll all disappoint. We sang that wonderful song, He's never going to let us down. And here was my thought while I was singing it. Yeah, but I do. I do. When I didn't give her the benefit of the doubt the other evening, I kind of believed, I didn't believe the best, I believed the worst. And there are moments when we do that. So often there's a gap between what I should have done and what I did do. We don't always get it right. Communication is hard at times. We don't always see eye to eye or even heart to heart. I know I always don't communicate very well. Here's what I've learned over the years, and you should learn from me. Learn from my mistakes. Rolling your eyes during a conversation is not going to help. It's not going to help. A snarky comment will not bring sizzle. It doesn't bring a great response. So learn to begin to say, I'm going to believe the best. Fascinating is that Jesus believes the best in me. He really does. He doesn't believe that I'm a screw up. He doesn't believe that. He's going to believe, he always believes. Fascinating that what I believe in Jesus, but he believes in me as well. He does. He believes in me. James 1:19 says, understand this, my dear brothers and sisters. You must all be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to get angry. If you would memorize that verse and live that one out, your marriage will go pretty well. Before I get defensive, before I get mad, before I get irritated, before I start talking, I need to find out what's going on. If I would stop jumping to conclusions and assuming things, my marriage would soar. So the first thing I need to do is to believe all things. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to believe in you and that you have my best interest in mind. By the way, we're going to take a hard look at James 1:19 during the separation of church and hate. It's a pretty key verse for us. Love hopes all things, love bears all things, believes all things, and love hopes all things. Love keeps from getting discouraged. Right now, you might be at a tipping point, and I know that some of you actually have put some things on hold. You haven't lost all hope. Over the last several weeks, you've inched towards each other, and you calmed some things down in your life, allowing hope to breathe and find space in your relationship. Love hopes all things. It also endures all things. Marriage is an endurance race. It's never a sprint. You might be going up some hills at times. The struggle can be real, but you keep moving forward. The key to finishing a race is to keep moving. You might move forward by scheduling a date night. You sit here and you listen and you go, well, you know, I think the first thing we should do is schedule. We haven't had a legitimate date. By that I mean it's like we drive through something, probably isn't it, right? Unless you're sitting at Sonic, and maybe that counts. But we haven't had a legitimate date for how long? And that could be COVID related. We don't want to go out. We're not risking that. But maybe you do. I love seeing the photos that I've seen from our StoneBridge family on creative dates that you've been doing over the course of the last 4 weeks. Whether it's ordering really good food and bringing it in and just having some time to do that. And I know this is really harder and harder because like, well, what do we do with the kids? What do we do? All that stuff. And figuring it out. But you can figure that out, especially if you're in a small group or you got family around that can help you with that. Let family help you with this, and you'll find that way. Maybe you would start by attending the church more often, whether it's online or in person. Take a long walk together. Join a small group and pray together. Maybe start setting money aside for that getaway. By the way, I think that if you would do that, everybody would go, put a little bit more, fill the jar up. I want to do this. No matter how much we have, we could always want the latest gadgets and the latest trinkets, and somehow we find money to purchase those things. But what if we begin to invest in our marriage? We don't, instead of saying, well, we don't have money to go out. We don't have money for that. We just don't have money for that. Well, be intentional about this. It's a great investment to spend a little bit of money on your marriage if you'll do that. Maybe it's reading a book together. And we can recommend books for you to read. One of the books we oftentimes share with people is The 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman. It's been around for a long while, but maybe it's just like, hey, we're going to read a chapter a week, and then we're going to go away for an overnight and talk about what we've learned. It'll just help us to love well. When I look at the list of things that needs to happen when it says love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things, I realize that I've fallen short oftentimes. Here's what Ed Stetzer recently tweeted. The longer I've walked with Christ, the more I am aware of his holiness and my sinfulness and the deep necessity for grace. I think I could say it like this. The longer I am married, the more I'm aware of my sinfulness and selfishness and the deep necessity for grace. So I invest in our relationship. I think it's important to invest in our relationship with Jesus as well. An extended conversation, an extended period of time in which we focus in our relationship with Jesus. And it's easy to do fast food with Jesus. It's really easy to snarf down a prayer, snarf down a little bit of Bible, snarf down maybe a praise song, whatever, and call it good. And what we'll find is that it's just massively inadequate for building a deep and powerful relationship with Jesus. And maybe, and again, it's investing in that relationship as well. For you to say, you know what, I'm going to spend some extended period of time with Jesus. Don't have a lot of time. I'm going to get up a little bit earlier to pull that off, or I'm going to spend a little bit of time instead of watching the debate or watching these things. I'm going to click it off for a little while and spend some time with him. Maybe I'm going to have an extended period of time in which I just get away for a little bit of prayer and thought. One of the best things I do occasionally has just been, I love getting in the car and driving by myself and heading to a cabin or something like just by myself. And after a few hours, I decompress enough to begin to pray well enough and to listen because it's quiet enough to hear from Jesus. There's different ways we connect with him and different ways that we can invest in our relationship with Jesus. It might be, hey, I'm finally going to sign up for that online small group. I'm finally going to go to that rooted thing. I'm really going to get involved in something. I'm investing an extended period of time with Jesus. And we want you to have a little bit of that right now. We're going to just a little bit more extended period of time to walk with him during our communion time. And here we're just going to, and hopefully over the last 45 minutes, 50 minutes, you've decompressed enough to listen to him and for you to hear his voice. And I think here's what he wants to say to you. I believe in you. I really do. I believe in you. I believe the best about you. I believe you want a great relationship with me. So, because love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, and endures all things. His love for us does that. So we're going to have communion together right now. Maybe you have one of these in our service. There's a piece of bread there that represents the body of Christ. If you're watching at home or wherever you might be, maybe you have a piece of bread or something you might be able to use as well. We also have some juice that represents the blood of Christ. And I'm going to pray, and then we'll have communion together, but you'll be watching a little bit on our screen. Just walk with him for a little bit. Just listen to his voice. He wants to speak to you right now, and he wants to hear from you as well. So let's pray. Thank you for a little bit of breather here. We decompress from the pressure and the stress, the noise that's happening all around us. We can't escape it. It's just too much at times. And it's never good. All news seems to be bad. So for a little bit here now, we remember you are good. You are good. You are good. So take our hands. We'll walk with you for a little bit. In Christ we pray. Amen. Enjoy this time with Jesus. This week we posted a video of a couple that's been married for 54 years on our Facebook site. And I loved watching that. These guys are heroes of mine. I appreciate them a lot, respect them. And Virgil said on that video that the key that he thought for 54 years of marriage was the word commitment. Not to be perfect, but to hang in there. It almost sounds painful, though, right? But it's been way more than that. I didn't really know a whole lot about love when I got married. I know I was in love. I didn't know the ramifications of that decision, but I did know that I would be committed. Right? It was a promise. Jesus makes the same promise to you and to me as well. He is a promise keeper, not a promise maker, a promise keeper, a light in the darkness, the hope that we have with him. So as we close our service today, may we enjoy the singing together or listening to this powerful song. Please join us right now.
Working in this place, I worship you, I worship you. You are here, you're moving in our midst. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, you're working in this place. I worship you, I worship you. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are here, you're touching every heart. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, you're healing every heart. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, you're turning lives around. I worship you, the darkness, my God, that is who you are. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Oh, even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Oh, waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. Oh, that you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. Oh, that is who you are. That is who you are. Oh, that is who you are. Oh, that is who you are. Oh, that is who you are. You're my light in the darkness, God. Oh, that is who you are. That is who you are.
So Mark talked about investing in our future and investing in our relationships and marriages. And we want to resource you in this. So you can go to the website and there are different ideas to invest in your relationships. So you'll see date night ideas, love dare, devotionals, and different ways to invest. So if you do one of those challenges, you can fill out our giveaway form and enter to win a weekend at the Lead Lodge. So we want to keep helping you invest in your future, but also a giveaway, which is awesome. So we hope you guys have a great week, but you're going to want to stick around if you watch the pre-service video.